Chickity check. 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. Real roll. Chickity check. It's the Andy C. Newland New England Radio Show, show 97 now. And what happens is I put it. It's about an hour to an hour and a half long each show. I I try to put in a half hour of myself, my own footage in each show. Sometimes I got an hour, sometimes I got no extra, from any other channels or whatever. And sometimes it's full of commercials, is what I call it, quote unquote, and channels it. So what you're looking at, the Nissan Scene, is a GDP 2003 Tapestry I bought with a Native American medicine woman that was born in the year 1898 AD. Yeah, and we bought it brand new in 2003 from the local head shop Tumbleweeds in Niantic. And we slept under it another 3 years, and then she passed away. She used to stay in my bedroom on and off since 1990 that I know of. But she could have been around the house, visiting my great grandmother on my Swedish side since about 1922 or 1921, while they were building the house. Maybe 1922, just after the house was finished. So there was that. My great grandmother on my Swedish side was 8 years older than my nanny, the Native American medicine woman, born She was my great grandmother on my Swedish side was born 1890, Sweden. So I've been doing a little bit of rhythm, testing out a little bit of rhythm. I've been playing the same old six string for 26 years. It's a 31-year-old guitar that I've been playing since the age of 4. I'm almost 30, so I figured I've been playing about 26 years. Of course, it was on the shelf. It's a factory press. The story goes as Jerry Garcia bought it for me, so that when I was old enough, large enough to play, we'd learn music theory from since I was 2 months old. I met the guy, and Brent Midland, Phil Lesh, Bill Kruzman, Mickey Hart, etc., Bear, Stanley, and and my parents, and a couple of kids about my age, Keelan, and the Midland sisters. And so there was a big Grateful Dead get together for the year and visit the baby on and off while they're at the East Coast. They always said their East Coast home was Capitol Theater, Portchester, New York. And I'm not sure the history about that, if they were still doing shows there or whatever. I do know that there was a family member, blood tied, nameless, sugary for now, that was working as one of Bear's sound assistants, and he did Giant Stadium 1988, 89. He did Nassau Coliseum 329, 1990, and stayed working with the original Grateful Dead from 1987, Brandenburg Arena, Nightfall of Diamonds, until 1995, the passing of Jerry and the disbandment of the Grateful Dead into side bands. And so 1995 came along, and I would spend more of my time with Buddy from New Riders of the Purple Sage, and then also Melvin from Jerry Garcia Band, to sort of fill the void between the passing of Jerry, and how would I cope with that? So, the very next year, my great grandmother passed away, and we wound up inheriting her house, a nice 10,000 square foot that had been in the family. If you'd say I was the homeowner currently, which I'm bound to come into it upon my dad's retirement, supposedly, which will be in about a decade. So 6 generations back from me, the family came, a guy, Gunsmith Jones Carlson, Gunny Jones, came over from Sweden through Ellis Isle, and then journeyed north and bought a 10,000 square foot in New London. It's been in the family since 1810, or say 1790, when 6 generations back there was Gunny Jones, and then there was Toole, and then there was Werner, and then there was Silva, and then there was Ricky, and then there's me, the Andy C. Drew, right? So if I was to have my first boy, I'd probably, depending on the chick I had it with, but no, I mean, like, if I got a Swedish housewife or whatever, some kind of surrogate mother, if it was really up to me, I think my first boy would be named Bjorn, to keep up with the whole Swedish thing. And considering I'm 38% Scandinavian Nordic, it's from 3 separate families, but they share the same last name with minor lettering difference, Carlson. You know, Sweden, Norway, and Finland. It's got nothing to do with Faroe, as far as I know, or Denmark, Iceland, or Greenland. And that's all, you know, the world's most tippity toppity hemisphere sit. So, I was gonna the same old ditties on the same old six string, yet with lack of Mr. Bird, I guess. We're pretty late into season 3, but with every video upload, it gets screened as if it's the pilot to the first season. I'm just saying, like, the reason for reiteration, and there's only about 2 hours worth of actual story I could do. I could wrap the whole thing up in a 2 hour mini movie, a 2 hour film. You know, just a regular film. If I had a camcorder, I'd wrap it up in a film. So, or if I wanted to script it, I could put it in a film. There's just the few certain themes, and one of them was the same old ditties on the same old six string. But that was more of a playing for nickels rather than showing off my own guitar playing. So I can strum a decent rhythm, you know, and it'd be great for shakedown, yeah, or one of those Grateful Dead parking lots digs. And then, the crowd that's around is distracted with the congos. In my own chord, I can do, you know, some one string at a time, one pluck at one string at a time, sort of lead ditties. That's it. Um, so there was that. And then there was, why would I be so close to the Grateful Dead besides Bobby, or a nameless blood type family member, Sugar Ray, being one of the band members from '87 to '95. My great grandmother spent 30 years with Albert Hoffman. Uh, say like since they were born in the same family in Switzerland. So 1908, she's born, Albert Hoffman's too, and they're put in the same crib, sort of thing, in the same commune, in the same country, in the same family, the same last name. She's his first cousin. She passed away, but they lived together. He passed away, but they lived together for the first 30 years of their lives. He got a job as a chemist at Sandoz in 1930. She got captured by the Nazi Party in the 1930s and rescued and brought to America, where she worked at Manhattan for 50 years and became just my great grandmother in 1990 when I came along. I was a planned birth for 3 years, and all the scripture got thrown out the window with the attack on the towers. And the quittance, I put in my 2 weeks, and it took a handful of years to actually get all the paperwork filed through to quit the GDP. Um, and again, I wasn't old enough. I was used to the riches and fame all throughout my childhood until I ducked on a submarine when we heard the Pentagon was bombed. Because I live in the submarine capital of the world. My grandpa was in the Navy for 50 years, 40 years, since he got drafted during World War II. He was a submarinist this whole while, so he was like something of a high chain of command, like something of an admiral, so to say. He'd shake hands with the president every year since his Congressional Medal of Honor. When the president showed up in New London City, he'd waltz right in with all his paperwork and IDs this to see the head honcho of the entire country. A third portion, you know, the most center portion of North America there, the USA, said. So for 50 years, he was shaking hands with the commander-in-chief of the entire nation. It's something like an Oval Office, opinion giver, so it's like an on-call Oval Office volunteer. It's like his name's in the president's Rolodex for a half a century, so or something similar. So we were scared the bombs would hit Groton. The whole the sirens went off and everyone, all hands on deck, sort of thing, real life situation. And I got carried on with Gramps and went to a fallout shelter under Long Island Sound for a couple hundred days, or 150, since something similar. The majority of the year 2002, yes, and in 2001, and the most of 2002 lived under the Long Island Sound. And it's got nothing to do with the ditties of the six strings. A little bit to do with the tapestry. My grandpa was the Native American medicine woman's first husband. Back when he first got here, she was younger than his ma. She was older than him, and she was a family friend. Keeping things in the family. They got married first. Then she couldn't make kids, so they divorced. He married again. His wife passed away, so he married a third time. She put out a small gaggle of children. Divorced him, and so he went back with his first wife. around the year 1990 and 1995 or something similar. So, and then she became uh, grandma, but she was Mima. She was fake grandma because she wasn't my dad's mom. She was my grandpa's girlfriend. So there was that, and then there was not just a solo one dad, so to speak. There was a band of brothers that helped raise me, and most of them are passed away by now, killed in action. I'm gonna go ahead and start in as well. One of them that's fallen is my parrot, Lieutenant. Yeah, Mr. Sir. Mr. Sir's fallen. And I'll show you. I picked out a totem. I'll just grab it from the corner over here to kind of fill the void. So it's it's the reincarnated Mr. Sir. Squawk, squawk. Yeah, I knew something was off when he started changing his whistle like that. And he's like, why do you sound like Hubert from Family Guy? It's really starting to piss me off. You got a death wish or something? There is that, and then I was noticing further and further the six strings, yeah, for the nickel and the violin case. Not everything's, hey, don't shoot me, man. I'll tell you my life story. I may not have the traditional wife and kid, but man, I've had a heck of a ride, man. Hell may not be where I'm bound. So there's that. And speaking of kids, that I've been with four chicks that put out the baby belly, 7, 8 months, and then disappeared. One of them, I know for a fact, got the big A, the Planned Parenthood operation. Yeah, that late in the stage, yeah, she said she figured that she couldn't do it. It was getting more and more painful and shouldn't feel like that irregular. She thought she died during labor, so she got a little operation then, and killed the kindred spirits. What very human-esque, or human, mine, me. Anyway, so there was that one, but then there's the other three that kind of escaped to the wind. One went to Florida, one went to New York. The other one was only 12, and I started the meds program, and 11 years flew by where I didn't even get the memo. It was up to my own self studies and inner vision and looking through the family photos. It first starts with, hey, who's that? That's a picture of me and a girl in 1993.